Yeah, this message is specifically for the divestors, all the divestors, and you know, the reasons why the people of the Americas and the surrounding Caribbean islands were infiltrated. This is for y'all. Don't it feel good? Don't it feel good to finally hop on a bandwagon that you know is gonna be the winner? Don't it feel good? Because it comes as a shock, right? When all the choices that you made before, all the things that you've done before, it didn't lead to the finish that you thought you were gonna have, right? It didn't lead to the wealth and the promise of what it would grant to you to betray your people. Don't it feel good to finally be on a bandwagon? But the thing about trying to be on the bandwagon is we know who you are because we know who we are. We remembered. Some of us never forgot. Some of us came here in this realm to this world with the memory intact. And we came to the matrix to shut this shit down. Like I like to say, to burn this shit down. But now we're fire, but with truth, because light and fire are the same thing. So while we shine in the light, it's bringing flames to the foundation that's holding up the lie. So now that we have the truth in the atmosphere, now that we have somebody that says, yo, because in order for anything to happen, in order for change or them dominoes to be affected, or in order for anything to take place, somebody has to say something, somebody has to do something, it has to come, an idea has to spark, something has to be sparked in order for something to take place, right? It's the formula for motion, right? E equals mc squared, right? Energy and motion, right? So all of these so-called all of a sudden chosen ones, I believe they're the ones that's the infiltrators. I believe those are the bandwagon hoppers, right? They hop from one popular subject to another popular subject whenever something is, you know, the current trend. That's when they want to hop on the current trend, right? So now, since a lot of people have always been on this path, and it hasn't been so many of us, it's always been a little bit of us. And now, in this day and age, it's even less of us that's on the front line, but it's more of us that want the truth instead of the lie, right? Because, like my brother Kalai said, the truth, it sounds good to a thirsty heart, right? 333 on the clock while I said that on the timer, whatever, right? But that's a confirmation right there, right? The truth, the a lie sounds good to a thirsty heart, and the truth is more disturbing than the lie. You be lied to your whole entire life and not know what the hell the truth is, and then you hear the truth one time, and it sounds so far fetched that you can't even think that it's remotely close to the truth because you have believed a lie for so long because your heart was so thirsty for something. Your heart was so thirsty for belonging. Your heart was so thirsty for for that connection. And since you didn't get that connection, what you ended up getting was serpents, snakes in the grass, bandwagon hoppers, all those people that look like money and come from money. They're not the ones that got bullied. I never seen somebody that looked like money and come from money get bullied in my life, right? The people that were the loners, the people that were unpopular, right? Those are the ones that spoke the truth, right? Because I remember being called preacher because of how I speak now. I never stopped speaking like this, right? So I remember being picked on or being bullied for being different, right? Even if it was just joking around here and there, right? There's truth in jest. So if somebody is joking with you, they're honestly telling a little bit of truth in those jokes that they're telling. That's why I don't, certain things I find humor in it, but I don't joke around because I'm not a joke, right? I'm not a jest. I'm not a fucking joker. So you're not gonna find no red nose on me with no makeup on and no colorful hair acting like a clown, right? Because ain't my monkeys, ain't my circus. All those people that's jumping around in the monkey farms, spamming all the freaking negativity, spamming all the lies, and confusing all the people that we're actually here to free. I'm here to complete the works of Bob Marley. I'm here to complete the works of Malcolm X. Malcolm X. I'm here to complete the works of our ancestors, right? Through this vessel. That's why I'm fully connected to the source. 555 on the timer, right? At all times and all the time connected to the source. When I'm not speaking, I'm meditating. And when I'm connected or meeting up with somebody or speaking to somebody, that's like the astronauts when they land on the moon. They stick their flag in there. I stick my flag in every single person and every single soul that I meet, and their lives are forever changed because I am the catalyst for change. We don't meet off of coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. There's something that's in your life. There's something that you need the answers to that I have the answers to. There's questions that you have and I have the answers. So that way, that's why I meditate. That's why I get enlightened. That's why I get the messages so I can send the threat. Everything that's already here previously to 2012, those were messages. After 2012, those were threats because you saw exactly what's happened and what is continuously happening and what's still happening and what's going to continue to happen because you were already warned. 0707 on the timer. Yo, it's just synchronicities all day. Every single time I look at the clock, it's a synchronicity, right? And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in New York right now. On the East Coast, the time says 1, 2, 3, 4. I love it. I love it. But to keep it, to bring this full circle, because I don't want this message to be too long, right? I could tell the difference between the truth and a lie. I could see through all the people that's lying on the internet because a lot of a lot of the times, I can hear my story in a lot of people, right? The same exact verbiage, the same exact words, the same exact lingo. Like I don't understand. And you could kind of get the gist of what I'm saying, right? Because in every single state, in every single city, in every single hood, everybody have different lingos and everybody speaks differently, right? So you could kind of tell how somebody's story is gonna go, how somebody's delivery is, and within that delivery, you could tell if that's truthful or if that's just, you know, far fetched or they're just reaching to just, try to get a reaction or a response or some motions from your heart towards what they have going on, right? Because a salesman can use any kind of pitch as long as they make the sale. They could tell you anything just to make the sale. They can act like they have a whole family because you have a whole family, and whatever story you're talking about, they have that same exact story to match your exact story, the same thing. And we know, right? No two snowflakes are alike. So nobody's story is exactly like your story. So whenever they're telling you the story and it's exactly like your story, when you have common sense and you use logical thinking, you obviously know somebody is trying to sell you something in this capitalist world where you're either being sold something, right? Or you're selling something to somebody. So we already know, if especially if you got that street smarts, you already could, you know, tell when somebody is trying to bullshit you, right? Because it's an unspoken language and it's an unspoken understanding when, you know, a bullshitter tries to bullshit the bullshitter, right? if that makes any sense, right? You try to play the player, right? You can't play the player and you can't play the game, and nobody is above the program, right? So when I hear and I see certain people reaching into people's hearts with lies and stories, it rubs me the wrong way because I know it's not going to pan out the way that they think it's going to pan out, and they're going to end up hopping on the bandwagon because some of us are connected to the source of life and the rest of them are connected to the source of death. So when the source of light starts to shine and prophesy and raise frequency and spread truth, here comes the source of death trying to feed off of that light and try to stifle that light and make their story seem so much more profound. Cue the tears, cue the emotions, cue the drama, cue the dramatic effect so that they can have a grasp on your emotions. And when somebody tries so hard to grasp at emotions without just flowing naturally, that's when it's something that it just it's like that poker face, right? So everybody has a tell. So something's gonna happen during that story, right? And if you're a good listener, you're going to be able to remember the last story that was told, especially with storytellers. I don't know why storytellers can't keep up with the stories they tell. It's because they're pathological lies and they actually don't really be telling the truth. So all they do is like salesmen. They just talk, 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 talk. They grasp at every fucking straw that's dangling in their face and they feed it to you. So it's like you could tell them your idea and they'll take some crumbs from that idea and then give it back to you as if they're giving you ideas towards your idea, like they're giving you help or they're assisting you in the development or in the development of your structure that you're building, right? And when you study psychology, you'll be able to, pinpoint like that meme with Leonardo DiCaprio when he's like, you'll always be able to have that moment where you're like, yeah, I catch that because it don't sound like what you said before. And it don't sound like the stories aren't lining up. It doesn't make any logical sense, right? Because this is a very logical world, right? But our imagination is what is used to make this world into a reality, right? So if they can play on your imagination and they can play on your emotions. If they can play on your emotions, they can play on your imagination. If they can play on your imaginations, they don't have to play on your emotions because they can make you imagine anything, and your imagination will ultimately trickle down to your heart and your soul. So I'm gonna leave that right there. These people, they want to hop on the bandwagon. They want to pretend like spirituality is popular because right now it's trendy for so much people to flip whatever they had going on and now turn over to the spiritual side, right? Because all they're doing is grasping at straws, right? They're trying to make an extra dollar. So whatever they're doing, if it's not what they're supposed to be doing, it's not going to feel real. It's gonna look real. It's gonna look like everything is how it's supposed to be, right? Like, the team comes out fully dressed. They got the uniform on. They look like the best team in the world until they get on the playing field and the underdogs run their ass over, blow them out, and everybody's looking like, wow, the championship team, they they looking bad out there. They got to start cheating. They got to start deflating the football. They got to start doing all this, that, and the third. The referees got to get paid off. just so the underdogs could stay down, right? We seen it in the longest yard, right? When them prisoners was playing against the guards, right? So they had to do all that stuff just to make sure that these underdogs don't get on top, because they know if it was fair, if the playing field was level, they couldn't play, and they couldn't even match up. So we the trendsetters. We the leader of this new earth, the new renaissance, baby. Just like how the Marines, they go and they clear the way. We the knights of the night. We fight in the darkness with the light, but we're not dark. Yeah, we have to clear the way so that tomorrow's children can enjoy the day. So when we play rough. I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day. I'm going to end this on a synchronistic time. Boom.